Hello and welcome to another brand new episode of Dingers and Stingers, the podcast that's wearing the same clothes as they were the last time you saw us. But that's not because we don't do laundry, it's because we're recording on the same day. And if you missed it or didn't watch our last episode, we have now split the podcast into twice weekly, one show focused on MLB exclusively, one show focused on NFL exclusively. We'll be doing this, for the next little while as MLB and NFL seasons are going to be starting to get in full swing. Want to give each of our favorite sports the time it deserves and also make the episodes a little bit more digestible. So, we want to make sure to do that. So today on our NFL show, a little later on, we will talk a little bit more Olympic flag football. We're going to put together our roster for what we would like to see on Team USA, the Olympic flag football dream team. But first, we are going to start today's show with a little bit of NFL news that came out over the course of the last week. Aaron Rodgers, he plays quarterback in the NFL still, apparently. And he's going to play quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers next year officially. This is something that was largely assumed, over the course of the offseason and, especially around the draft time when they didn't take a quarterback. It was sort of assumed that there was some sort of agreement in place where he would end up there. And so now that the QB spot is set for the Steelers, the major parts of their offseason are pretty much over as training camp begins. And so now that QB spot is set, how do we feel about the Steelers this year? They made a couple of additions via trade in the offseason. DK Metcalf from my beloved Seahawks is now a Steeler. And so among a couple others. So what do we think about the Steelers this year now that their QB spot settled? What are we expecting from them this year?
Personally, my expectations for the Steelers are still low. You've basically traded a bunch of things that are a bit of a wash at this point. You get DK Metcalf, and instead of going with the most toxic receiver room of all time, you just trade George Pickens, and now you just have another singular personality I don't know if the impact of George Pickens or DK Metcalf really outweighs one or the other. And someone like Aaron Rodgers, the Jets won more games with Zach Wilson at quarterback with a very similarly built team. And I look at last year, say what you want about Russell, he had his moments. Say what you want about Justin Fields, he had his moments. I would argue at this point, they had a higher ceiling with either of those guys. Now, talk about the rookie draft and what they brought in, and we'll see what the defense looks like, but their defense is still, they're a year older than they were, and they already had some guys on the wrong side of their prime. I don't know. I don't think that this move really does anything, and this is just talking strictly roster, on paper. I don't know that this necessarily makes the Steelers that much better than they were last year. Does this, is Aaron Rodgers a step up from Mason Rudolph? I would say yes. But this is comparing them to last year because you don't ever want to be in a weird spot where you're comparing yourself to like your off-season team because that's just you're supposed to be worse in the off-season than you are in the season. So yeah, I don't think it'll be very good off the field. I think this is going to be really interesting to see. I mean, Mike Tomlin has a history of dealing with some personalities. Is probably the nicest way to say that. And they've added some new ones. So we'll see, Mike Tomlin, how much he ages this year. But to me, this looks like another 9-8 season and maybe slip in a wild card. I don't know.
Yeah, I echo everything you said. I think, are they better than last year? I doubt it. Are they worse? I don't know. Maybe. The Steelers are the Steelers. They're all basically since the last time they were really good, which is we're pushing 10 years since then. They've basically been the same team, which is around 500, maybe a little better. They make the playoffs and they get knocked out in the first round, and that's what the Steelers are. They've had good defenses, but not world-beating defenses. And yeah, I think Rodgers is an upgrade over their current quarterback room. Is he an upgrade over last year's quarterback room? I don't think so. I mean, Justin Fields is now in New York playing for the Jets, which is where Aaron Rodgers just came from. I feel bad for DK Metcalf, but at the same time, it's like, you make your bed, you got to lie in it. But like, did the reports around his trade request before it was completed was he wanted to go somewhere warm. He's in Pittsburgh. Uh,
Yeah.
he wanted a good quarterback. Well, I mean, Aaron Rodgers once was good. It hasn't been a long time. But overall, my take is like that is the quarterback room I would like to be in the least of any like maybe any room on the planet. Like that, just Mason Rudolph and Aaron Rodgers, and no disrespect to Will Howard because I don't really know much about him as a person. Um, but those are two people with like some of the most terrible views that I have heard of that
Yeah.
like publicly proclaim those views. So yeah, I don't want to buy any stock in the Steelers beyond the fact that they are always around the same record every year, regardless of how good or bad the other teams in their division do, regardless of how good the AFC does as a whole. But if I'm just looking at the entire AFC and, in future shows, we're going to really break down these teams before the season starts. But they are not one of the top teams. Like, I just see no way in which you could really think that unless Aaron Rodgers magically finds his MVP stride again, which I just highly doubt. They, I, they're boring and they're toxic. That's just not a good mix. So
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're going to be, boring on the field and you're going to be floating around that 500 spot, you want to be entertaining, but not like this. You want to give your fans something to talk about, but not this way. And so it definitely feels like there's going to be an imbalance of just a general energy around the team and how they perform across the season. With the defense, that's probably going to be good again, and at how good they were last year. If they are like that again this year, you can't be that bad, and so we'll see how it works out for them, and we'll see how it works out for Aaron Rodgers. He's definitely got a little bit, to prove as far as what the public thinks of him as a quarterback. Not even as a person, but just as a quarterback.
Which he's put that up completely on himself because,
right.
Like, if he like never opened his mouth, and even if he played the last couple of years, but like especially if he never opened his mouth and then like retired 2-3 years ago,
Yeah.
he's just like gonna be a Hall of Fame quarterback, and he still will make the Hall of Fame. But like, he's just like, it's hard to imagine someone tanking their public image so much in the last few years as much as Aaron Rodgers has, and
Yes.
I don't think anyone roots for him. I think people already don't really root for the Steelers unless you're a Steelers fan. So, in that sense, it's kind of a good match. But it's just it kind of always seemed inevitable. Like I think many people just assumed this would happen at some point, and of course now it has.
Famously, Joy Taylor. Clearly.
Right. But it's just like that doesn't make it a good move. I just I don't think it's a recipe for success. That's and I don't think even the Steelers deep down think that. I think maybe it's like, well, we need to have a quarterback. We need to have somebody. And maybe the Kirk Cousins trade market wasn't what they thought or something. I don't know, but yeah, here we are.
Here we are, starting minicamp with Aaron Rodgers as the quarterback. And it's I said this off wax to you guys, but it's amazing to me when he signed. I was like, okay, he's finally signed. What the heck, whatever took so long. It's amazing to me that it was only a couple weeks ago that was the first time that I heard the idea that the reason he hadn't signed yet is because he told the Steelers that he wasn't going to do OTAs, and so to avoid the media criticizing him about that, they just waited until they were over to sign him. Like, of course, that's probably why. Like, because he didn't do it with the Jets, and so of course, that's probably why he waited this long. And I can't believe that I didn't think about that before. But yeah, so we'll see about Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers. We'll talk a lot more about our prospects for the Steelers when we get to our division previews here in a couple weeks. We'll start those, so we'll talk more about what we think is up over there in Pittsburgh. Being a Pittsburgh sports fan right now, what a roller coaster! What a roller coaster you're on. Okay, so let's move now into the main feature of our episode today, which will be our dream team for Team USA's Olympic flag football team. We've talked about this team, being a thing on previous episodes. We've talked about what we think about it and how much we're looking forward to seeing who the U.S. fields in 2028 at the Summer Olympics. And so now we're going to talk about what we think should happen and who we think they should field. If you listen to our episode where we put together our dream roster for the World Baseball Classic, Team USA, look for that episode if you haven't listened to it yet. It'll work exactly like we did that one. So each of Drew and Matt has made their rosters, and we'll go position by position. And just, have a nice time, saying who we think, and we'll see where we match and we'll see where we differ. As a reminder, each side of the ball for flag football gets 5 players. The positions are quarterback. There is a center position, but this is a person who becomes a receiver after the snap. So keep that in mind when you're building your rosters. And then the offense gets 3 other receivers. They're generally called receivers, but also we've asked you to keep in mind that run plays are possible as long as you're not within 5 yards of the end zone or midfield, because midfield is the line to gain in flag football. The rules they'll be playing, that's the line to gain, that's where your downs restart. And so as long as you're not within 5 yards, you can do run plays. So running backs are on the table, they'll just be labeled receivers because that's what they call them. And then defense is just 5 players. You have the option to rush 1 player per play, and the rest will cover. So you can add a defensive lineman if you wish, or they can all be corners and safeties and stuff like that, whatever you want to do. So from here, let's get started now that we've laid out the rules, and let's start with the marquee position here. Let's start with quarterback, and let's hear Matt's quarterback.
Can I ask a clarifying question real quick? So the Olympic flag football team, it'll be summer of 2028. But I did this exercise as if they were playing tomorrow. I kind of thought, okay, so just wanted to make sure.
And just for clarification, I did not that, so we'll go with that. Should provide some diversity of answers.
Matt has a bunch of players who are freshmen right now on his roster.
High schoolers.
I've been looking up Max Prep's highlight tapes.
Yes, that's where we're gonna go here. Okay. So yes, feel free to of course. These rosters will be as if we can definitely make that part of it. Okay, so let's start with the marquee position. Let's start with quarterback, and let's go to Matt for your quarterback.
Yeah, there's so many possibilities and fun thoughts when it comes to this, thinking about all the great athletes we have at quarterback these days. My first initial thought was, I think Kyler Murray would be incredible as a, flag football quarterback. But that's not who I went with because it's, 3 years from now. And who's to say he's going to still be the sneaky, elusive little guy he is. So I'm going to build a bit of a dream team here that's going for something different. And it's something I actively hate, but I think would be funny to put on the world stage. So my quarterback I have is Shedeur Sanders.
Sure.
All right.
Sure.
Well, we're 0 for 1 on matching.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
why Shedeur Sanders? What does he bring to the table for you?
He's young, so he's not going to be old, is a huge factor. And familiarity with some potential teammates in the future.
Oh, dear. Right on. Uh, no interest in, a 49, 50-year-old Tom Brady. That's fine. We don't have to do that. We can go with the young Shador
You'll be
Sanders.
surprised as to how
Um,
close a 50-year-old Tom Brady is to some of my picks.
okay, very fun.
Uh-oh.
Um, again, oh dear, oh dear. Okay, good. So we're starting off hot.
Yeah.
Quarterback Shooter Sanders for Matt's team. Drew, who is your quarterback for the Olympic team?
Yeah, I also went a little bit outside the box. I will say I am inside the box compared to what Matt did. Um, but that my first thought is, well, any NFL level quarterback could do it in this setting. I have a lot of faith in that. I thought about guys like Lamar Jackson. I thought about Patrick Mahomes because, like obviously their NFL success, Josh Allen, guys who can run around a little bit and can throw it. But at the end of the day, when thinking about the rules for this, I thought what's going to be important is not necessarily a scramble ability, but throwing tight, accurate passes and getting the ball out quickly. And I went with someone I really like, kind of an underrated guy, and I went with Baker Mayfield because I think
He would be
picturing him,
so fun. Holy shit.
picturing him like in the whatever gear they get to wear, like the headband, whatever, he would just go all in on that. He has the perfect vibe to run a flag football team, like to be
Yeah.
the leader of a flag football team, and he throws as tight of a spiral as anyone in the NFL. And so I think if I was building my team, give me Baker at quarterback.
Back up
Baker
with Gardner
QB.
Minshew.
Yes, why not? I'll say this: if it is going to be Baker, I do need him to grow the hair out a little bit. I do need him to
Yeah.
grow the hair out a little bit.
Yeah.
It's got to be headband
He's gotta have the
style, like
flow.
it's got to be flowing on the headband. Yes.
I'm picturing like the NFL Street, the video game, like that kind of outfit. They'll wear like the backwards visors and stuff.
Yes, absolutely.
Baker would be so fun.
Yeah, man, eye black, the whole thing. He's already an eye black guy, so you put him in that. That's a great look. Yeah, so absolutely. All right, so we're having fun now. Shedeur Sanders, Baker Mayfield. Those are the two quarterbacks we have. Okay, so we're gonna go with let's go with our four other offensive players. I assume no one picked a true center. I'm gonna go ahead and.
You'd be shocked.
Okay, well okay. I went into this blind. Perhaps I should have done a little producing and gone into it with knowledge. So let's stick with center, and let's have Matt's center pick right here, and let's have it. Let's have it.
Yeah, I'm just imagining once again. I know other countries will have athletic people. I don't know if many people are going to be sending out teams that can just match the size of what the NFL players will be. He doesn't even have to be good per se. I want Jason Kelce on this team. I think you'll get the perfect snap every time. You don't have to teach him. And red zone threat. He's just a big dude. He used to be more of an athlete than he is now. But I think, if I'm not mistaken, he used to play other positions. I think he, in fact, was a running back when he went to college. So, he's got some of that in him. And yeah, I respect someone who can just get the snap automatic. You pick a receiver or a running back, they're going to have to learn how to snap a ball. And nothing kills a drive more than snapping the ball over the quarterback's head, automatic down. There's no fumbles in flag football. So, we got to have the snap locked in.
All right,
And it would be so fun.
So there he is, Jason Kelce. Watch out, Swedish defenders. Jason Kelce running at you on a 5-yard out. Watch out, he's coming. Okay, so in keeping here, Drew, give me one of your offensive players and let's make him the center.
I specifically chose this guy to be my center. He is not a center per se, but I chose him to be my center. First of all, I want to comment on Matt's team. It has the vibe of someone who Googled the term football players and just went with the answers that Google spit out. So
Famously, I couldn't think of any.
I'm curious to see who else is on this team. If we're trying to get views, if the Olympics ratings are low, I trust Matt's team will get it done.
Yes.
I'm just trying
My
to do some
center,
good SEO.
I chose someone who is a receiver who will catch passes, but to put at the center position, I wanted a little bit of bulk there, so I went with the aforementioned DK Metcalf as my center, and also receiving threat. I went with the mindset of like, let's just dominate. Let's see how much we can run up the score on these poor countries that just learned about football, and see what we can do.
Yeah, look,
I don't think he has the humility for it.
DK is, I was talking about this a little bit pre-show, but I recently watched a little highlight video of DK's because it was part of the Seahawks top 50 players of all time kind of thing that they put out. And a lot of his video was just showing him as a person. Because the Seahawks have never had anybody who looks like him play on their team before. And so it would be quite something to see DK walk onto the Olympic field and stack up against athletes from other countries. But yeah, so I like the idea of him being on the Olympic team as well.
Which I think for flag football too, Matt, your point about you want a good snap. I think they can do that side thing where they don't have to go under the legs; they can just kind of flip it. And so I'm not worried about.
That could change the whole makeup of the team, to be honest.
My whole team was built around the fact they had to go between the legs for the snap.
I built from the trenches, fellas.
Okay, so there you go. Centers are Jason Kelsey and DK Metcalf. Beautiful. The classic 1-2, find and replace for each other. Okay, so let's finish out our offenses. I'm going to ask for all three of your receivers at once, three of your other offensive players at once. And let's go back to Matt and see what he has for us here at the three other receiver spots.
Yeah, so once again, I did think about age, right? This is, projecting a few years out. So thinking who's kind of on the up right now that could be hitting that prime. My three receivers, I'll give you my first two receivers, and then I got a hybrid guy. So I've got Malik Neighbors. I think he's got kind of everything you want. He's not like the most physically imposing guy, but he can cook you short, he can cook you deep. He'll cook any random person on a field. And then obviously building the continuity, I have Travis Hunter. Just a shifty dude. If you need him to play both ways, heard he's willing. And, there's a lot of flexibility there. My third guy, because I do still believe in the run game, even in flag football, I put Jahmyr Gibbs. I think he would be really fun. You can use him as a receiver, but also I think you could literally hand him the ball and he might just score anyways. There's a lot of NFL players who have a hard time touching him. It would be different without the pads on. Just the shiftiness, the explosiveness. I think he would be a real fun player. So Malik Neighbors, Travis Hunter, Jahmyr Gibbs.
I think what I like about Malik Neighbors and Travis Hunter is they could both sort of hopefully their teams can turn things around for their sake, but they could both be the sort of Mike Trout of the NFL national team, where it's we finally get to see Malik Neighbors and Travis Hunter play in a meaningful games, after all these years of them wallowing with whatever team, with the Giants or with the Jaguars, provided they don't turn it around by then, they could both fill that role. It could be fun to see them play in meaningful games. Okay, so there you go. So that's Matt's offense. Again, at quarterback, we have Shedeur Sanders. At center, we have Jason Kelsey. And then rounded out the team on offense, Malik Neighbors, Travis Hunter, and Jahmyr Gibbs. I love Jahmyr Gibbs, too. I think he's great. It's going to be good. Okay, so Drew, let's round out your offense and give me your last three players for your offense here.
Yeah, I considered running backs, and Jahmyr Gibbs was at top of the list for that, but I ended up going with three pure wide receivers here. I also chose Malik Neighbors as one of mine. And and all the reasons you said. And I just decided, let's do a trio of LSU guys, and I went with Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase as my other two. And I think, in my humble opinion, those are the two best wide receivers in football. And then Malik Neighbors had an outstanding rookie year. I think by 2028, he really maybe could be the best. I think of all my players I chose, he has a real shot at being on this team for reals. But I just thought speed and the ability to catch the ball, that's gonna be a lot of points on the board.
Giving Baker Mayfield those three receivers would be insane because Baker's going to take off and scramble for 15 yards.
No, guys, I swear they weren't open. I know DK Metcalf is a foot taller than anybody else out there, but he wasn't open. He wasn't.
Well, it's funny to imagine because it's like, okay, DK Metcalf, add him to the mix. So these four guys are all running routes. There's 5 defenders. So let's say they were like, okay, well, Baker Mayfield can't run anyways, so let's just not even rush, and we'll be able to double team one guy. It's like,
you're not going to do the offense where you do a handoff to the quarterback?
There's just no, I don't see any possibility. You could even, yeah, I won't go that far. But anyway, I don't see any possibility that, another country's team could cover any of these guys, even with, 3 people on them. I just don't see it happening. But, yeah. I mean, same with quarterback. There's a list of 50 wide receivers in the NFL that would be good on this team. But those were my picks.
Right. And there will be more players than just these, on the offensive side that'll swap in and have some fun and everything. So we'll get to see more people than just our starting roster, for sure. Okay, so Drew's offense, that's Baker Mayfield's, that's DK Metcalf, and then they're rounding out Malik Neighbors, Justin Jefferson, and good old Jamar Chase as well. Okay, so let's talk defense. How I'm going to do this is we'll go 2-2 and then 1-1 for the 5 total, or 2-2, 2-2, and 1-1 for the 5 total of your players. That way we get, one person doesn't talk too long at once. So Matt, we'll go to you. Give us your first 2 defensive players you'd like to divulge at this time.
Yeah, and I'll leak this info early. I have a pass rusher. Very excited. So I'm going to be listing 4 DBs here. My first 2, right off the bat, I've got my boy Cooper DeJean. I think he's awesome. I think he's super fun, super flashy. I also just love a white corner. I think it's hilarious. And so, yeah, putting him out there. And then I also have Trent McDuffie from the Chiefs. He's I believe their nickel corner, but one of the stickiest guys in man coverage, and this team will be playing man. We're not playing zone because why would we? We're playing man defense. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. 100%. You gotta man up if you're us.
Yeah.
You can't. Yeah. You can't.
If Team USA comes out in zone and there's NFL players playing, I'm gonna be really disappointed at whoever's coaching it, because this year of any year, throw away the actual good game planning and be fun. Just make it fun.
Yeah, there's no such thing as game planning, I don't think, at this point. It's just pick your guy.
No, we're a few Olympics away from having to game plan for real.
Yeah. All right, so good start. 2 corners. They're to start things there. So Drew, give us 2 of your defenders from your team here.
Yeah, so I'll start with one that overlapped. I also chose Cooper DeJean. I wanted some white boy representation on my defense.
Please tell me you went with Riley Moss.
No, I went with Cooper DeJean.
Oh, so it ends there.
Yeah, that's it. We don't need to get crazy,
We don't want to actually get cooked.
We don't need to give it to him.
Yeah. So I went with him. He had a great rookie year and good defender. And then of course I went with my boy Pat Surtain. You got to have him, the best corner in the game. in my opinion, and really in the NFL's opinion, because Defensive Player of the Year last year. But yeah, I think man coverage is the way to go. We'll see with my other picks. I gave myself options if you wanted to go zone, but yeah, I think that's a good start. Pat Surtain and Cooper DeJean.
Look, if we have our way, the U.S. will be represented, on defense by, a broccoli-headed Zoomer. There's no way getting around it. Cooper DeJean will represent the United States.
A broccoli-headed Zoomer is insane.
Look, the facts are the facts.
They're everywhere, man. They're all around me.
It's a good look. I'm not saying anything about the look. I'm just saying that's who it's going to be.
Junior Asparagus.
Yeah, I mean he's the blueprint. By the way, no one credits him for starting.
I think he's a millennial, technically.
Yeah. I mean, he was a real trailblazer with the broccoli-headed, situation. Okay, so let's bounce back to Matt and go with two more of your defenders. Who we got?
Yeah, so just in case any country decides to get tricky and throw out some dude who's like 6'8", I figured we'd need at least one long corner. So I'm going with Tariq Woolen. Rick Woolen. He's, huge. He's like 6'4", fast as hell. He can jump. So I'm like, that's my guy who's basically just there to guard the ringers and like the weirdos that other countries will bring. Because I'm not trying to lose to like Lithuania, who has a 7'2" dude who just goes and stands in the back. So Rick Woolen. And then to continue with the earlier continuity I spoke of, this is going to be a unique coach and player experience. I have Deion Sanders.
I saw that coming.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
Sure.
Yeah, I feel like it was.
Hey,
yeah.
You got me. I didn't see it. Okay, so Deion Sanders, let's go. Let's hear it.
No reasoning. He could lock me up if I went out there, and I imagine there's a few countries that could use me. So,
He's got like foot problems too, but he could do it.
He just put him at safety. Switch it up, go to zone.
Yeah, he can play center field out there. He may not be able to man up, but he's rangy still, as they like.
Yeah, and he also I have him listed as my backup center. So
sure, yeah, and why not? Him and Jason Kelsey are pretty much at that point, physicality wise, they'll be pretty similar.
Similar athletes.
And you know what? While we're at it, add him to the World Baseball Classic roster. Why not?
No one ever, we don't, we always forget.
Why does it have to be an active player? Why?
The two-way legend. And look, I thought we might
for winning and stuff.
I thought there would be at least one not active player come up just for funsies, but we've had a couple come up, and that's been good. I think that would be good for Team USA to have Deion Sanders on the squad. All right, and so there you go. There's Matt's last two DBs, and then so let's go to Drew for your next two defenders. Who is it?
I have two more corners here. One of them, Matt already mentioned on his offensive side. I have Travis Hunter on there.
Oh.
Because, at the end of the day, he can play both ways. I'm cool with that. But he was the highest picked corner in this past year's draft. He's a Heisman Trophy winner. Get him on the squad. Let's see what he can do. Obviously, we haven't seen his skills in the NFL yet, but I have no doubt in flag football he will do just fine. And then another corner I chose is Derek Stingley Jr. from the Houston Texans. Had a great year last year. One of the better corners in the game. So I just kind of went, maybe chalk, but the best players I can think of.
Sure.
And also still young, like 2028's within grasp for them.
Yeah, and he's active, so that's a big selling point to me.
And he's in football shape, as they say.
Yeah.
I can't lie. The first roster I built out was all just huge NFL draft busts. And I was like, we're rolling out Jamarcus Russell, Ryan Leaf. We're going to do the thing.
Going multiple quarterbacks?
Yeah, I mean, Team USA does it right now.
John
Yeah,
Ross. Get John Ross out there.
John Ross would.
Mhm.
Percy Harvin, call him up. Where's he
I
at?
think Henry Ruggs will be available by then.
Who knows? Good behavior, perhaps. Okay, so one more defender to reveal for each team. So let's hit it. Matt, you've teased that you have a natural pass rusher. So let's hear who it is.
I wouldn't. Okay, I'm the positionally a pass rusher.
Okay, positionally.
The man I went with is because in my head, there's no time limit on rushing the passer, right? So my thought was you need to apply pressure immediately. There's two ways to do that. You either get like the fastest dude you can to just sprint, or you get like one of the taller guys you can, right? We're going a little out of bounds here. I'm gonna say it. This is probably out of bounds for me. I have a backup pick if you disqualify this. I picked LeBron James. Because I'm imagining lining up LeBron James and just saying you're gonna run at this guy and jump. When he looks like he's gonna throw, you're gonna jump.
I wish I would have gotten a little more creative with this, come to think of it, but I did not.
Okay.
Because I mean, dude, and think about the legacy for LeBron. Like another thing Michael Jordan doesn't have is
honestly that would cement his like.
championship.
I'm on the fence of if is LeBron good. I don't know. Let me see him play Olympic flag football
I need to see flag football before he retires.
at
You know
age like 43 or whatever.
You know what Michael Jordan never did was play for Team USA basketball and Team USA football. He never did that. I did not disqualify Deion Sanders, so I will not disqualify LeBron James.
Similar
allow
picks.
I'll allow it.
Hey, as long as he's from USA, he's eligible.
He qualifies. He's eligible. Okay, so there you go. The defense really running the gamut there of personalities, players, even what sport they actually play. We're diversifying, so no problem there. All right, Drew. Last player for your starting team. Who you got?
Yeah, I went with Shohei Ohtani. No, I'm just kidding.
He pivoted when you said tall.
Famously American.
He's tall.
Yeah, Japanese legend Shohei Ohtani. No, I went with a guy who I thought could do well as the pass rusher if we want him to. He could go back in coverage in a zone role. He could double up on someone, what have you. I went with Kyle Hamilton of the Baltimore
that was
Ravens.
the guy I had as my backup. I was like, if they don't like LeBron, Kyle Hamilton.
Yeah, so he's a safety naturally, but in this he could kind of do whatever is needed on the given play. If we're tired of just getting sacks over and over and over, then let them drop back and let them see what they can do if they actually get a pass off. So yeah, I mean, again, pretty chalky, but I'm trying to win this thing.
Yeah, no problem. So our rosters, our starting rosters are set. We'll either throw up a graphic along the way of all the players and the names, or maybe one at the end to have the full rosters available for you. But that's who we picked to represent Team USA in the Olympics in 2028. The football USA, unless you were confused and you just tuned in the last 5 minutes. But I will ask this. I didn't ask this in the Google Doc, but we have a couple minutes spare time. So the coach is going to be Peyton Manning, but who would you pick the coach to be if you could pick?
Drew, I'll let you take the first pick here.
Well, my first instinct is, again, pretty chalky, but I think I'd like to see what creative stuff Andy Reid or Sean McVay could come up with running the offense. Defense is pretty easy. It's like cover the guys. And offensively, I'd like to see what kind of routes and let's implement some hook and ladders and stuff just for shits and giggles. But some offensive genius like that. I'll go with Sean McVay because he's younger and by 2028 he still might be willing to do it.
Yeah, that's valid. Sean McVay would be an awesome choice. I would love to see it. I think that'd be super fun, obviously. I'd love to see myself put my name out there. I've coached my fair share of flag football
Right.
teams, also
Yeah.
famously American. But if I had to actually pick a coach, I think I would go with the guy who just does the most nonsense on the field and go with Mike McDaniel. Um,
Mm.
It's another good one.
you put that guy out there. I mean, other teams wouldn't know what to do with that combination. He's younger than half of my players, so it would really be an interesting kind of like thing. But I think he'd do great. Honestly, his concepts are always pretty like out of the box. Um, so
And Dallas, to be honest, like if I was coming up with a fun answer that I'd be excited to see, it might be Peyton Manning. So that's
Yes.
cool with
No.
me if it's Peyton
Yeah.
Manning.
It's definitely a positive thing. Like, I just mean, like, of all the positions we could possibly pick, this is probably the most set thing that I could possibly think of, is that
Hmm.
it's definitely going to be him. And so that's not a bad thing. I want to see it. It'll be really fun to see it. I'm locking it in. I would have to imagine that's what's going to happen.
I
But
think it'd be really funny if
that'd
he
be good.
built a coaching staff of like, I'm the head coach. Here's my offensive coordinator. Here's my defensive coordinator. Here's my wide receivers coach. It's like
Yeah.
for this team of like whoever it ends up being, it's of course going to be the best of the best. Like they have like positional coaches and stuff.
dude, it could
I
have
know.
been Arch Manning as my quarterback.
Yeah,
I
hey,
when you said you were kind of like not going off, like you were going off of like what year it's going to be in, I was maybe expecting it to be that. But
Well, and there's a kid who's like a senior in high school this year who's going to be the first ambidextrous D1 quarterback. That would be fun.
well, there you go.
just give him two footballs. Who knows which one's real?
Yeah, one of them's a dummy.
You can only throw one of them. Okay, so there you go. That's our dream team. Hit us in the comments with yours if you want, and then let us hear who you would put up there if it was any different than ours. But if you also had LeBron James, I want to hear that too. I'd like to hear that as well.
Let me know.
All right, so that'll do for our NFL show this week. It was a fun time. We'll be
Shout
back.
out.
Yeah.
Sorry, I interrupted your flow, but I just need to shout out Matt. It's his birthday today, and he's a father as of 4 days ago. So big news.
100%
We
big things happening.
We up in age and in non-sleeping.
Yes.
We are literally up.
Yeah, we're up. We're up all night. Yes, congrats absolutely to one of our own. Exciting things, big moves for sure. So, like I said, thank you for listening. If you tuned in, thanks for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to us, follow us on Instagram, all that good stuff. If you're like, where's the Dingers and Stingers? Well, go back to our MLB show. We're only doing it once a week. And we did it on the MLB show this week. So go listen to that. And until we see you again, have a great rest of the week and take care. We'll see you for the next episode. Bye.
Bye.